Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your June forecast for Aries. So there's a couple exciting things that I get to talk about this month, and one of the absolute best things that I can tell you is Mercury goes out of retrograde finally in June, and actually it's going to be on June 11th. It goes out of retrograde on the 11th, but you always want to wait like a few days until it kind of just speeds back up, especially in this particular Mercury retrograde, and I'm going to tell you why. And that is because in this particular retrograde, Neptune is going to be in opposition with this particular, with Mercury in Gemini energy. And anytime that happens, it creates some fogginess about what's gonna, how you want to communicate. If something comes up on this full moon, I don't think you're going to know necessarily just how to solve the issue right away, because communication isn't going to be highly effective. I think this is going to be a time when you internalize a lot of the changes that you have to make. I don't see that this moon is going to be a big, igniting point for you. I think what's going to happen is it's going to ignite your lower mind, which means your automatic responses to this situation, if something does come up, because full moons are cumulative energy, usually mean endings. Usually means that there is something in the shadows that is illuminated by this moon energy. And through what's illuminated in the shadows, it could be something deceptive. And the reason I say that is because Neptune in Pisces is going to be squaring off with the Sun in Gemini, with Mars in Gemini, and with Mercury in Gemini. This suggests to me that you may have sold a particular package, or or somebody may have sold you a package or a version of something, and then there was just it didn't turn out to be what it should have been. I think this will also have something to do with the fact that for you, it's going to be in your dreams, hopes, and wishes. I mean, this is a big area. So this was something that you were at some point clinging to, hoping to have back in your life or to add to your life. But in the end, there was just something that was held back. And during this moon, you're going to see everything. How you deal with it could be met with opposition. And the reason I say this is because this full moon happens to oppose Mars in Gemini and Mercury in Gemini energy as well. This suggests to me that if there is some sort of deception, something that, was sold to you, or you thought that you had a particular, something was going to go a certain way and then it ended up not going that way, it's going to be very, very disappointing. And but there's no getting away from the reality of it. So I just want to forewarn you about that. It could have to do with siblings, because Gemini energy is always about siblings. And so it just could have something to do with, you're trying to make this unit in your house just become the way that you want it, and through communicating effectively, you're just not getting there. You've been elevating your thinking and trying to come up with a way to make this work. It's not working. And you've also just tried out your automatic responses to the situation, and that's not going to cut it. I just think that this moon is going to be kind of an intense moon. Now for you, Sagittarius energy and Aries energy are like bread and butter. They're like an ultimate match. So I don't think that I think that for the most part, you're not going to be one of those people that just want to jump off a cliff because of what's going on here. I just think that it's going to be a disappointing time for you. The energy is already building, guys. So by the time I release this, you're probably getting an indication of where this particular area is, where this disappointment is, or where this deception is, or where something was just not quite laid out to you fully. And because energy builds 2 days before a full moon, it peaks at the full moon, and then a couple days after the full moon, it kind of mellows out the energy. But this does set up a 4-week cycle, of course, until the next full moon. Now, on the 5th of June, we have some really good energy to talk about. We have Mars in Gemini is going to be sextiling Jupiter in Leo. And for you, Mars is in the 3rd house. And so, again, this has to do with communication. This has to do with, if you want to learn something, if you're thinking about something in any way, if you're thinking about going back to school, if you're thinking about taking up a new hobby, but you need to, study about it, this is the energy for that. And when it's sextiling Jupiter, it means no matter what you come up with, no matter if you're passionate about something and you have a drive about it, and you want to study it and you want to pursue it and you want to communicate about it, Jupiter in Leo is going to come up with a creative process, and it's going to expand this subject. It's going to expand this whole entire thing. So I see this energy as being just completely fabulous. It'll restore your energy back to where it used to be. I mean, come on, guys. May was just a month of, nothing but reality checks for us, and now we're going to go back to getting energy starting to feel like it's authentic to the energies that are at play. They're not in so much opposition. I also want to talk about Uranus in Aries is going to be sextiling Mars in Gemini, and I really, really like this. This means that your ego and your soul is going to get some really good news, or you're going to become so passionate about something that it feels so authentic to you that it just starts this brainstorming effect, which then expands this thought process, and you just take off. You feel alive, you feel revived, you feel like the energy is kind of going back in the right direction, and you're just feeling pretty good. Now, on the 8th, we have a lot of amazing energy to talk about. We have a lot of sextiles. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about sextiles. Sextiles are energies that work harmoniously together, but they support each other. A trine is something that they just work so good together that you can sometimes not fully use the energy to its full capacity because, it's just going so easy. You don't even have to struggle. So on the 8th, the Sun in Gemini, Mars in Gemini are both going to be sextiling Jupiter in Leo. So let me talk to you about this. The Sun in Gemini, your core, yourself, in Gemini, how you appear to others, how you put yourself out there, to your siblings, how you communicate, how you learn, short distance travel. And Mars is how you passionately pursue things. It's, if you really, really want something, Mars really likes to go in there and just ignite you. And then in all of this Gemini energy, it could just make you go kind of off half-cocked and be like, I don't really care about the ramifications because I'm feeling so freaking good. It's got to be good. It's got to be good to go do that. And so you're going to want to do that and pursue it. But I like that it's in Jupiter and Leo because, guys, Leo energy and Gemini energy just work together. It's air energy and it's fire, and the air is giving enough air to the fire to make it smolder and burn bright, but not like out of control, although you can tend to get a little carried away in all of this Gemini energy and Leo energy because you're and the reason I say this is because sometimes these are very youthful energies. They like us to see the best parts of things that, they don't necessarily have the wise old energy in it. So that makes you, want to go play a little bit more so than normal. But I also like that on this very same day, you have Uranus in Aries. It is also going to be sextiling the Sun in Gemini and Mars in Gemini. This means your core, how you pursue things. This could mean a sudden opportunity comes up out of nowhere that really honestly is authentic to what you want to do, what you want to be. It could mean an innovative idea that just comes from nowhere that changes your entire future, and you want to communicate about it. Or it could mean that somebody comes into your life that just says, hey, this is fabulous. And you say, you know what, this really is a good idea. And you guys have this great conversation about it. It puts you in the right place at the right time. And before you know it, you have an opportunity from nowhere that really, really changes your life. It's a fabulous energy. And the next thing that I like about this energy is that, I like that we have Neptune squaring off with the Gemini energy as well. And I like that because we don't want to get too carried away in all of this crazy energy. Now, on the 10th, we have the Sun in Gemini, Mars in Gemini. We have them sextiling, again, Jupiter and Leo. Now, we've been waiting for Jupiter and Leo to unleash its gifts. Anytime that Jupiter is in Leo, it has the potential to just be tremendously benefic in your life. This is in your home and family. This is in romantic endeavors. This could mean that you just get sparkled by somebody and you just, it's such a match. I mean, you're just feeling so alive with this person and you're just feeling so blessed to have met them. This whole day is going to just be incredibly fabulous. There is just nothing but sparkling. And I'm going to tell you why. Venus in Leo, because Venus went into Leo on the 5th. And so when Venus goes into Leo, it's really, really, really indulgent in pleasing itself and in love and romance. I mean, these two get together and it's like the money just starts flying out of your hands. So you may get caught up in all of this energy and start feeling so good that you spend entirely too much money. Be very, very wary of that. It is really easy to get carried away in this energy. Then on June 11th, Mercury goes direct. Big, yay, let's just be happy about this because, guys, there is nothing better than not having Mercury in retrograde, especially for somebody who does videos like I do, because when it's not, it just completely tortures me the other way. So the only thing I can say about this day is I would wait to do anything, and there's a couple reasons. For one, you have to wait till the planet fully speeds up for it to be at its maximum. But for two, when Mercury goes direct, Neptune actually goes into retrograde. Neptune energy is your spiritual guide. It's your connection to your unconscious awareness. It's your connection to the universe. And it was squared a lot and in the last month or so. And the reason why it was like that is because we need to get our heads out of the clouds and be realistic. Now that Neptune is going into retrograde, it's having us revisit those things that was brought forward to you on a real level that you just need to look at it at all sides. So you're again revisiting the areas that were squared when Neptune's in retrograde, just to let you know. Okay, guys, and then on the 14th, we have the Sun in Gemini and Mars in Gemini, again, sextiling Uranus in Aries. I can't emphasize enough that this is just an amazing month. It's an amazing month for you to make your dreams come true. Uranus in Aries energy, that is you. That means that anything goes in your life. Think about something, you could probably manifest it. especially since Jupiter is in such a great mood this month and Uranus is in Aries. It's all about feeding you what your soul needs, feeding you what your ego needs, building your ego up. We've had a lot of tearing down of our egos. This month is going to be about building up that egos, and especially for the Aries. Now, I do want to talk about the fact that Venus in Leo is going to be sextiling on the 14th. It's going to be sextiling Mercury in Gemini. I love this. This means that you could have a wonderful conversation with somebody that just ignites passion, and it could be a romantic endeavor. It could be about money. Whatever you talk about, it's going to make a really significant difference going forward. And then on the 16th, we have a new moon in Gemini. And for you, this is going to be in your third house. And so when it's in your third house, this new moon in Gemini, now mind you, that is Gemini's house. And so this new moon, the only thing I can say about it is it does have the potential of, because Neptune and Pisces is going to be kind of in a bad mood in this particular aspect. And so I just really want you to understand that even though you have this really wonderful new moon, and again, it's about planting seeds. It's about having conversations. You know, Mercury's out of retrograde and we're going ahead, and all these things that have been bottled up, we're now starting to have conversations. And the reason that I say this is because on the 14th of June, Saturn, that was normally in Sagittarius, now goes back into Scorpio. And you want to think about what happened in about October of 2012. And you want to think about it up till now. Like, you want to think about what was revealed to you in those months. Because that's what's going to be revisited. And for you, it's going to be, all of this energy is going to be in your 8th house. So when you get this new moon that comes along in the 16th, I want you to really combine those two energies and think about it. Because Saturn is going to be diving deep. It's going to be asking you those tough questions about what happened. And it's going to make sure that whatever happened, that you learned from it, that you benefited in some way from it. If you did not clean it all up, because it's the karmic planet, it will go in there and it will make you revisit that same issue once again. So I would really, really take heed of the new Scorpio position in Saturn, because, you know, this is going to be there for quite some time, having us just revisit, you know, this particular aspect in your chart. With this new moon, the Gemini energy just wants to go out and it wants to have a really good time, but then you've got this Scorpio energy that just really pulling you back and making you dive deep and look at your innermost demons. And so you're going to have that little bit going on. You're going to feel pretty fantastic, so I don't know how much you're willing to visit the Saturn and Scorpio energy. You may not get much of a choice because, as you know, Saturn doesn't really give you much of a choice. And then on the 22nd, we have Jupiter in Leo is going to be trining Uranus in Aries, and Venus in Leo is going to be trining Uranus in Aries. Now, a trine to me is a little bit, is not as exciting of energy to me as a sextile, because a sextile is like, you know, you just feel completely fantastic when you're in a sextile. But a trine, it's just like two people walking side by side talking about the same conversations they always have. You know, they get a lot out of each other. They get a lot out of that relationship. But in turn, you know, sometimes they could get bored with that type of energy, and so they don't utilize it correctly. But I think all in all, this day is going to be relatively okay. I think that if you start going back into your past too much, you're going to start going into some quincunx energy. That's going to be extremely difficult for you because it's going to be in your 5th house. So this is going to be in a romantic endeavor. Say you started something up and something just took off, but you know what? You still have a way that you process, or that you approach relationships, and you approach creative outlets, you know, that just doesn't get you ahead. I would say look back to October of 2012, right around that area. See if it starts pulling you backward, really honestly pay attention to it, because Saturn comes back and likes us to just get a quick reboot on what we learned and keep us fresh and keep our continued education classes going, so that we're always on top of where we are and always maintaining and going forward. For all of you that did really, really well in all of your previous lessons in Scorpio, I don't think that this energy is going to affect you much. It could turn out to be very benefic, and it could turn out to be very romantic. It could turn out where you want to move in with somebody, because this is all about being and having shared resources with people. It could take relationships to the next level. You know, you could fall in love. It just depends on how well you've worked through your past karmic issues. On the 23rd, it is going to be a difficult day. I'm not going to lie. Your moon in Scorpio is going to square up with the sun in Cancer and then Mars in Gemini. An intense Scorpio moon, when we have Scorpio energy in Saturn, it's going to drag you down a bit. It's going to make you, there's going to be a lot of reality in this, because, you know, this is about bringing and bubbling up, like, all your intensity, all the things that you hide from yourself. It's going to be, you know, revisited again. You do have some quincunxes with Saturn and Scorpio. It's going to quincunx Mars in Gemini and the sun in Cancer. So you're going to be highly sensitive in your core. You're going to be very intense about whatever comes up. It could be past related. It could have something to do with either money, shared resources, some sort of legality issue. It could have something to do with your home and family. Just something comes in and just really, really changes the scenario and doesn't make the situation feel really wonderful. Then on the 28th, we have Venus in Leo is going to trine Uranus. Jupiter in Leo is going to trine Uranus in Aries. So this suggests to me love is looking really, really good for you guys. You may hit some bumps, but for the most part, you know, you're making forward progress. You're not being sucked down, beat down, and made to stay down. These are just, hey, if things come up, that just means that you have some work to do, and that's okay, because you're going to keep going anyway. You're going to keep going. You're running the football down, you know, all the way down the field. So don't worry about it. Like, even if you have an off day, you're not going to spend too many days in an off day. There is some intense Scorpio energy. Yes, there is. But for the most part, I think this is going to be a fabulous month for you. And I look forward to talking to you guys again next month. And hey, don't forget to check out my daily forecast.